The sun had barely risen over the capital city of Ouagadougou, casting a golden glow over the bustling streets. But in the corridors of power, a different kind of storm was brewing. President Ibrahim Traoré stood in his office, his eyes scanning the latest intelligence reports. Rumors of dissent within his own government had been circulating for weeks, and now it seemed the whispers had grown into a roar. Traoré's closest advisors, men and women he had trusted with his life, were beginning to turn against him. He knew he had to act fast, but the question was, who could he trust? As Traoré navigated the complex web of alliances and rivalries within his administration, he discovered that even his most trusted allies had hidden agendas. Some were driven by personal ambition, while others were motivated by a desire to protect their own interests. One of his advisors, a man named Captain Ouattara, seemed particularly suspicious. Traoré couldn't quite put his finger on it, but something about Ouattara's behavior didn't add up. It started with small things. A whispered conversation in a corner of the room, a furtive glance exchanged between two advisors. But soon, the signs of betrayal became impossible to ignore. Traoré's own chief of staff, a man he had appointed himself, approached him with a proposal that seemed almost treasonous. "Mr. President," he said, his voice low and measured, "perhaps it's time for you to consider stepping down. For the good of the country, of course." Traoré's eyes narrowed. Who was behind this? And what did they hope to gain? The night of the coup, Traoré's world came crashing down around him. His advisors, his allies, even some of his own guards seemed to be against him, but Traoré was not one to back down from a fight. Using all his cunning and charisma, he rallied the few loyalists who remained and launched a desperate bid to reclaim power. The hours that followed were chaotic, with gunfire and shouting filling the air. Traoré fought his way through the corridors of power, determined to emerge victorious. In the end, Traoré emerged victorious, but not without scars. The coup had left deep wounds, both physical and emotional. As he stood on the balcony of his office, looking out over the city, he knew that the road ahead would be long and difficult. But he also knew that he had proven himself, once again, to be a leader of steel. The coup within had tested him, but it had also made him stronger. And as he gazed out at the city, Traoré knew that he would do whatever it took to protect his country, his people, and his own grip on power.